welcome to Virtual Concert Hall's live music channel. My name is Chris Au, and I have with me the co-founder of Virtual Concert Halls, the amazing Dr. Anna Ouspenskaya. Welcome.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you everyone for joining us for the second episode. I'm so excited. We're going through those episodes one by one, and I hope you stay with us and watch those programs further.
Yeah, thank you for participating and watching, and I hope you will share it with people you know. This is part 2 of the documentary of Beethoven's Symphony No. 1, written and narrated by Lawrence Rapchak, created by New Media Productions Worldwide and Virtual Concert Halls, as well as being produced by Architects of Music.
This is an incredible collaboration. I'm really thrilled to be part of it. And it's been made possible by our shared passion to be connecting musicians and audiences in real-time music, live programs and performances from around the globe.
Presto, or Allegro con brio, our exposition begins. And so this magnificently structured introduction, which began with such ambivalence and then hovered around C major, has finally settled into that key for the exposition. And Beethoven, child of the Enlightenment and the classical style, would create a first symphony roughly equivalent to late Mozart and Haydn in its overall proportions, its style, and architecture, moving on now to its textbook exposition. And already Beethoven is using that Haydnesque technique of taking tiny motifs or cells and using them to build his structure. So in the first theme of this exposition, he takes 3 notes. G, the dominant, the B is the leading tone, which results to C, the tonic, bum, 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 and a snappy rhythm to provide energy. And then upward C major triad now, here, with the leading tone, bum, bum, prominent. We move then into D minor, and the same thing repeats, but up a step, which now prepares us for a big, emphatic, extended C major episode. So what I'd like to do now is to play for you all of the main themes of the exposition, and then we'll hear them as they occur in the orchestra. First, the main theme in C major. It repeats in D minor, and then leads us back to C major with these dynamic chords, clearly related to those big, majestic chords from the introduction. Then the next theme of this group built on a C major triad and a descending scale, like so. Then a transition using the main theme, leading to the key of G major, the all-important dominant or polar key, and another theme, also with a descending scale. A connecting theme. Now the secondary group of themes, all in the dominant key of G major, and as required by the sonata form, more lyrical in character, featuring now the woodwinds, like so. And notice, this theme is also built on a descending scale. These scales are everywhere, here, and even the main theme. Plus there's more. This graceful secondary theme is accompanied by the ascending triad figure we heard from the main theme, which now becomes this in the bassoon. So we have that accompaniment with the lyrical secondary theme, like so. And you see how all these materials are bound together. They're related motivically in a subtle but organic sort of way. This is true symphonic writing. And this leads to the third major theme, also in G major. It's very energetic, almost boisterous in its precise, clipped rhythms. It's tough to do on the piano, but wait till you hear the strings play it. It is a brilliant, dashing theme. Now we have a minor key variant of the secondary theme, this one, like so, in the cellos and basses. Continues to wind its way back to G major to close out the exposition with a vigorous return of the main theme. Or a variation of it. And Beethoven now takes the rising triad, this thing, and inverts it using these chromatic diminished chord harmonies. Yes, for some extra added tension, leading back to G major for a brief and genteel closing. And the exposition ends emphatically in G major. So many amazing things bursting forth from Beethoven's mind. So here now is the exposition, beginning after the slow introduction, and I'll call out everything as it happens. Our main theme. It repeats in D minor. A transition. And here are those dynamic chords. And a new theme with a downward scale. The main theme now has a transition. And a connecting theme. Ba-da-ba-ba-bum also has a descending scale. Our secondary theme. We're now in G major. And the ascending triad as accompaniment. And here is our third theme, bursting with energy. Is the minor key version of the second theme, with an oboe obbligato, and the theme continues to wind its way in the cellos and basses. The main theme now, and the diminished chords, very intense, and a gentle closing in the dominant key of G major. And it will all repeat. It was standard practice to repeat the entire exposition so that the audience could hear all of the main materials again before plunging into the central development section.
Fascinating way to look at the exposition of this symphony. Wow.
Yeah, this may appear like a standard, college music history lecture, where you get acquainted with what the material is and how it's comprised together to put into the. But I really love how Larry genuinely is enjoying the intricacies of the journey of this construction of the symphony, and he makes it so alive. I know both you and me, Chris, we went through the music history courses multiple times, right? And a lot of it sometimes may seem like, well, why do I even need to know it? Can I just enjoy the music, right? But this builds up because the exposition exposes the themes, and these are like characters in the novel. Symphony can be compared to a novel. So if you pay attention to the details about the characters as they appear in the first section of the novel, first 200-300 pages of it, I guess.
Yeah.
So then the relationships and the development of the story starts making much more sense and becomes a much more enriching reading experience. Same thing with the symphony. It's not just a sit back on your couch and enjoy kind of music. It's not a background music. It's a music which calls for active participation. How can you participate better in something? Well, by following the plot.
Yeah, I think it's really triumphant entrance of Beethoven as a composer to write not only in the key of C major, but also to introduce his character, his himself, within these sort of very boisterous, joyful, and wonderful, optimistic themes that you hear, and it's all constructed in a really perfect way, I would say.
Very
in terms of the
masterful, yeah.
structure. Yeah, everything links, everything joins together so well, and upon first hearing, every theme seems to already be in its right place. There's nothing that's a bit too long. I think geometrically it's already really well crafted and structured, and so it's just pure joy. Even listening to it again, because you do repeat the exposition as performance practice, you don't find yourself, oh, here's that long exposition all over again. It's this idea, yeah, let's do it again. And I think you're right that if you think of a symphony as a novel, and this kind of symphony is not a novel to be just trifled with and ignored. It's a really important statement by Beethoven.
Yeah, it's not a paperback boulevard kind of novel.
No, it's not sort of like a summer read that it's a quick read and you don't really hold on to the characters. This is his first published symphony that he really wants to put a stamp on. And you think about how so many of his earlier works are in C major. It's almost as if it's preceding this sort of the stamp, like how can I play with this key of C major and produce themes that are not only easy for the ear to latch onto. I love the leading note going to the tonic, as in just, oh, here we go, and then you had this descending. He uses scales, sort of as if a child is going up and down a slide or a roller coaster, and you get this sense that there is so much movement, and yet there's a sense of mystery, but also then when things come on, it's very boisterous, and he uses his third theme of a boisterous, dashing theme to just give, again, more contrast. So within the first 2-3 minutes of the symphony, you're already hooked to see what he's going to do. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, totally. And the great thing about this particular approach, as Lawrence Rapchak does it, is it unveils the inner mechanics of how Beethoven created the symphony. At the same time, is not overbearing with too many technical details. I think it's really something which people can understand and relate to, even if they are not really, musicians themselves, and not familiar with too much terminology. He avoids this elitist kind of terminology which is only accessible to people who studied the subject and all of that. I really like how this opens up the possibility to relate to the Beethoven's creative process and his output as a constructor, as an architect of his own music, of his, especially his symphonies. It opens up and makes it accessible, because we all say, well, classical music is so great. Why? It's not just because it sounds good. It's also because it really takes you on that roller coaster journey. And how does it do it? You got to build the roller coaster to start with. Then you can sell tickets, right? And that's exactly what Beethoven did. And then we can see how from symphony to symphony, that approach of his developed and became more and more focused and more and more colors. He was able to add instruments. It's just incredible exploration and research which Beethoven did, and experimenting, all on the same outlook of building the symphony as opposed to just writing it, and all these elements, connecting those elements, and they flow. And if you're doing something else and keeping Beethoven on the background, that's good too, because it's just so harmonious and so well put together, as we say, right? That it's not gonna it's not gonna invade your life or disturb anything. It's just gonna elevate your mood.
I absolutely agree. I think with any great piece of art, there is always so much to be learned from how it's constructed and how it's crafted together in such a way that the more you know, it's not like it gets more boring or it loses its appeal or its shine. I think the more you know about Beethoven's music, the more you know about the symphony. And I've, conducted this first movement before, and to listen to it again doesn't make me feel as if, oh, here we go. I've heard this, been there, done that. It's actually just come more alive. It's music that somehow continues to live on. And I know this is very cliche for a lot of classical musicians. This piece grows on you, this piece is maturing in you, and you come to love it more as you grow. And I can't help but say that it is very true. And it's also sort of, I guess, like great pieces of music or great pieces of literature or great paintings that you revisit and you go and see again, and it has a different way of appealing to you, especially because of your life circumstances. So to understand Beethoven and his first symphony, as well as all the other symphonies that we've been doing so far, and to have that sort of depth, I'm sure if we had different conductors or different scholars talking about the symphonies, again, would learn something different. But can they deliver it the way that Lawrence Rapchak does? Not sure. But still, it's just this idea that we can continue to learn and understand a different perspective of these symphonies, and they don't cease to lose, since it doesn't cease to have its appeal upon us, and it continues to have that shine. I think that's really a great thing to be involved in.
Yeah, that's a really great thing to own, this possibility to connect with those masterpieces. They're masterpieces. Why? Because they really, really rich in what they in the goodies which they bring, and that is on all levels. On the level of feeling, we perceive this music as just feel good music, and why? Because as Lawrence pointing out, it's made of the good elements and it's constructed in a good harmonious way, and at the same time you can step further and further in depth and learn more about the creator himself, and the Beethoven, and how he related and how he led his life, and how he channeled his life events and his life experiences into being creative. Now that's something anyone can relate to, because we all have life experiences, and we all have life circumstances, and we all struggle, just like Beethoven did, with making life obstacles into something other than the obstacle. So this is a good. I mean, you can go and peel that onion and go deeper and deeper in depth through this exploration, and find something which will illuminate and elevate your day or the whole life.
Yeah. What I love about this piece also, and I'm going to ask you a question after this, is also there's this incredible youthful joy to this piece of music, and I think it obviously, what makes Beethoven very interesting is that towards the end of his life, towards the middle of his life, there are different stages, and there are different ways in which this optimism shows. My question for you would be, what other piece in Beethoven's literature or works would you say exudes this sense of optimism and dashing and movement and this forward drive?
Oh, tons. There's a ton of
this sort of idea of just absolute brilliance in a way.
Yeah, even in the later years, in his middle period, he revisited the topic of unrestricted, unsuspended immersion in joy over and over again. Well, think of the Aurora Sonata. This one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's already middle period, and you know, in the symphonies, in the Ninth Symphony, the last movement,
Yes, yes.
it's not childish anymore, but it's just full of the same kind of unrestricted energies, like an avalanche of joy, and yeah. And you can just, that list goes on and on and on. Beethoven is a dramatic composer, but his cast of drama, his type of his menu of drama is in that energy and the friction between tragedy and joy. And joy always wins. You know, Fifth Symphony ends up in
Yeah.
C major, apathetic ending
Yeah.
to all the struggles which were in the previous movement.
I
So
find
his
that-
direction is always upward.
Yeah, and what I find is he's never copying the same techniques to elicit this sort of joy or to portray this sort of joy. He's always coming with very creative ways, whether it's these glissandes up and down in the last movement of that Waldstein sonata you just started to play in, or it could be different rhythms in which he incorporates in the last Opus 111 sonata, or with this idea of a constant ode to joy theme bursting through again and again with different accompaniment that just you feel like the whole world is about to explode. I find it's brilliant that he doesn't just repeat himself. That the mark of a great craftsman is that he's able to reinvent, he's able to produce other ways to show this sort of joy. And I think that's more than this grumpy face that we always associate Beethoven with. I wish there was a portrait of him just absolutely ecstatic with energy and joy, with like some shining light in his eyes.
True, that's an interesting point you're making. The portraits and his own writing letters make him appear grumpy. Maybe that was his just general and impatience and life dissatisfaction, that
Yeah.
the joy he was seeking in life always was a bit out of reach.
Yes.
And as it is, but the music really portrays a man plowing through everything and going 90 miles an hour towards that sunshine. That's for me just the inner nature of Beethoven's music, and
Yeah.
probably his personality.
That's what I think, and I think that's something that slowly reveals itself as you explore more of his music. So you don't just think of Beethoven with his Fifth Symphony. You associate him with this incredible pastoral symphony of the Sixth. You associate him with this symphony, and as you're following along, you've also probably explored the Fourth Symphony with us, and you'll find that there's amazing joy and bucolic life with nature. And I think that's what Beethoven really, there's so many sides of him, but I think this needs to be portrayed more, so that it gives our listeners and us a sense that there is something to strive and yearn for, which is positive and good. And with that, I want to just thank our amazing team for putting again these videos for us and editing and putting these cuts, these are ways to see the music come alive, as well as the great people at New Media Productions, Virtual Concert Halls, Architects of Music, and of course the narration of Larry Rapchak.
Yes, thank you everyone collaborating with us. It's a great pleasure. And thank you the audience for staying with us, for visiting these programs and productions. And as always, we would like to encourage you to visit our website. And you can see them on the screen right now, going one after another. There's a lot of projects, not only film projects, but also performances and broadcasts and music and musicians from around the world, daily broadcasts, where we bring musicians and their projects and orchestras and various organizations to your attention. There's just so much wealth of great art out there, and we want to bring it to everyone, make it accessible. So, and if you are a creator, visit our websites, get in touch with us, propose your project. We are very interested always to get in touch and to help and try
Collaborate.
our best to collaborate and make your
Absolutely.
dreams come true. And
Yeah,
as well
yeah.
as ours.
Yes, and it's such a joy to be able to host and interview a lot of different people and to showcase art from all over the world. So I hope you'll be considering to be a part of our shows. And with that, we want to thank you for joining us today. This is part 2 of our Beethoven 1 documentary series, and next up will be part 3. So I look forward to seeing you all there. Bye for now.
Bye for now.
No matter where you are or who you are, music connects us all. We started with a dream, but now we are paving the future. Welcome to the Sound Expressiva Global Competition. Fully virtual, yet bringing musicians closer together than ever before, now on a global scale. True live, inclusivity, diversity, connection, community, an extraordinary array of judges. Get noticed by companies all over the world. Prizes, scholarships, performance opportunities. Apply to be a part of the most exciting congregation of artists like nothing you've ever seen before. We guarantee quality and leave no musician behind. We can't wait to hear you on the virtual stage.